growing up and being a kid and having difficulties with like social interaction and like connecting with people, because of being neurodivergent, friendships and like a lot of my life experiences came through reading, and it became this really, really like almost safe way to explore the world and dive into different experiences and kind of understand human nature in a different way. And so my love of reading is just something that has always just kind of been like a core personality trait. And then being an only child, I was always telling myself a lot of stories and kind of like I spent so much time daydreaming. And then eventually, like I got to the point where I was lacking. I was always trying to be a writer kind of like in my teens and like through college and stuff like that. And nothing was ever sticking because I had this idea of what like a writer needed to be, or like what a story would like merit had to be. And essentially it's like this concept of literary fiction, right? Where it's like, it's to be like this dark and sad thing. And then, I just one day kind of got this idea. I heard these voices in my head, right? It was like, okay, so a socially acceptable way to like say that is like to be a writer, So I started just toying with, like, I just started tapping in and listening to these voices and these people that were popping into my head. And then I almost started to feel like a scribe. And it was like almost like unlocking a creative muscle that I had kind of been resisting before. And I realized like the more I indulged it, the stronger it would grow. And like the more hungry I would be to like create and kind of dive into these characters in these different worlds. And so when I stopped looking at like writing as kind of like a labor or like this painful process, and instead of like this really fun, like almost like self-care thing where you go outside of yourself and you're like learning about new characters and different people, it really changed my perception of writing and how joyful it can be. And so I mean, a lot of times I get writer's block and I have to like just kind of push through, and I don't want to write and I still have to get words on the page, but I kind of know that as long as I'm moving forward with a story, I can always go back and like rebuild off of that too. And so no, it doesn't always feel good to write. Sometimes it's the most painful thing in the world, but like, at the end of the day, having something on the page that you can even just return to and edit is better than not trying at all or not pushing through with that.
Yeah.